Hi everyone, Jennifer here, back with another edition of Book Talk. This book is one that I actually finished reading a couple of months ago, but due to the fact that I had for October coming up, I wanted to try and have the book review done at about the same time as the movie review. I did put it on hold. And it is a book that obviously is based off of a movie, and one that I really, really love. I've seen the movie multiple times, actually, and I actually saw the sequel before I saw the original. And that book is Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of N.I.M.H. A widowed field mouse goes to a group of very secretive rats in the hopes of finding a way to protect her family and her home from the devastation of the farmer's plow. Okay, highlights of the book. This book was published in 1971 and is a children's science fiction fantasy book. And by science fiction, basically there is science in it. It's very scientific with like the rats and everything doing things that humans do, even though the world they live in is very much like our world. And fantasy because the animals talk, and obviously some of the stuff that happens with the animals in the book might not necessarily happen in real life. It was written by Robert C. O'Brien and has 28 chapters, which includes the epilogue, and has at least one movie that I know of that is based on it, with a sequel that follows that movie as well. The movie is The Secret of N.I.M.H, and then the sequel movie is The Secret of N.I.M.H 2, Timmy to the Rescue. Okay, things I liked about this book. I really liked everything about this book. It had cute little animals in it that were actual animals. They weren't like, well, they were kind of a little anamorphic, but not like to the extreme where they were literally living as people and doing things as people do in their world. They were doing things that animals do and whatnot, but they were concerned about things that, maybe animals aren't normally concerned about, such as having to maybe a little bit worry about the coming of the farmer's plow for those that live like in the vegetable patch and whatnot. But it did have the cute little animals in it. You get a little idea of kind of what these lab animals go through to a degree when the rats are telling Mrs. Frisby about their time at N.I.M.H, the National Institute of Mental Health, which is what it stands for. and whatnot. So you do get a little bit of that. I mean, it's not to the extreme as say something like Plague Dogs, which we will get into when I get to Plague Dogs. I promise that'll be the next book talk review. But it is in there a bit. It's not like what the whole book's about, though. But I knew going into this book that if it was anything like the movie, which I had seen before I read the book, that I knew I was going to like it. And I wasn't disappointed. Were there some differences between the book and the movie? Yes, there were. But we will get into that in the comparison video where I will compare The Secret of N.I.M.H with Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of N.I.M.H. There were a few things, that I felt were a little different between the book and the movie, but again, we'll get into that in the comparison video, which will be up tomorrow, I promise, at the earliest. At the very latest, it'll be up Monday. So it was a very good book. I really liked it. It will definitely be one I will go back and read. I think it won a Newbery Award, so yeah, it won a Newbery Award. So books that aren't very good don't win awards, and they aren't made into movies. So you knew that. So based on the fact that it won the Newbery Award and it was made into a movie, that you know it has to be a good book. It's a really good book. It's really cute. Again, there are some, having seen the movie first, I did notice some differences as I was reading it. But we will get more into that in comparison, I promise. Okay, feel free to check out my other videos.